right, Brian, so what brings you most joy in what you're doing on a daily basis?
What brings me most joy here, I think, honestly, living 2 miles down the road, being able to come down to the shop and have not just like employees working here, but honestly, some of my best friends working here is, I think, my favorite part. Not many people get to go to work, at their own hours, working with their employees one on one, making sure that they have the time that they need to stay happy as well, get out and ride. I myself get to come here and work through the summers nonstop, and I'm here really late, and I still love it. And then in the winters, when it slows down a bit, I ride probably 1 o'clock till 6 p.m. almost every day. So the freedom it's really given me, on top of the community and the people and all the friends I've met out at the trails, is probably why I do this. I got into cycling from having really bad knees. I did a lot of impact sports before this, and my doctor was actually recommended that I get into cycling to help strengthen my knee joints. And so I kind of listened, and I ended up getting into bikes, but I decided to go mountain bike this route. Just a little more adrenaline, and I think from what I have in my sports history would be snowboarding and freestyle jet skiing. They just lined up really well with that.
You totally overdrilled the back one. Drilled the front one. Wasn't optimistic enough to put the front bolt in.
What inspired me to start the shop was spending so much time working on my friends' bikes, and oftentimes I'd be bringing home someone else's bike. And over time, more and more people from those group rides were just seeing the confidence that I had in working on them, and were happy with what we were giving them back. Eventually, I was kind of suggested by my friend Dustin Thomas to open a bike shop, maybe out of the garage or something, and we decided to do that just a few months later in October of 2019. Going on some group rides, and we'd find that there'd be even 35 people on some of these. Really good commitment to get into and ride every week. So our niche is more mechanical stuff. The service side of it has always been our strong suit. Completely filled the brim in here with work projects through the summers, to the point where bikes are even like having to be stored off site. I know it's a little bit of a small shop right now as we grow, but we've always had a lot of service, I think, with great turnout. The customers have been super happy with our experience in it. We were able to snag some good employees from Infinity Cyclery when they closed down. Luke Hensley was kind of our first employee. Really helped make the shop service just work. And when you get that busy trying to support your local trail network, actually really incredible. And I think having COVID sell out almost every product out there for biking and a lot of sports in 2020, we were then working on everything. There was not much to sell. Everyone had their equipment and they're breaking it or needing to get it serviced. Sometimes 30, 40 bikes a day coming in that door, learning as much as humanly possible as fast as he could. Ibis was our first bicycle brand that we ended up working with. Actually worked with us out of our garage even, which was surprising. And most vendors want to only work out of a brick and mortar store. From there, we were able to work with Regan, our local specialized rep at the time, who saw the opportunity, knew Silverdale Cyclery was going to be closing down. The owner retired there, and we decided to reach out to Regan, and luckily we got specialized. So now we carry a lot of specialized bikes. They have a huge dynamic range from kids' bikes, entry tier, all the way up to like $15,000 electric bikes that are as good as they can possibly get.
Okay, so Brian, tell me about what you prefer to ride on a daily basis and where you ride at.
Typically I ride a Specialized Levo. I feel that bike kind of does everything. It's the one bike quiver, and I think a lot of people in our community have found that to be the case as well. Having a few bikes in the past, I ended up realizing this thing just does it all. You can kind of detune the thing and make it ride like an analog bike to go ride with your friends that don't have one. And then when you're doing group rides with everybody and hey, everyone's on an e-bike for this ride, we can turn them up a little bit and go explore a little more. Fit, finish, geometry, integration, all of that is just kind of top tier and cutting edge. They're the only brand that makes their own battery design and motor design and display design for that frame as well. So you're going to find that integration is just, it almost doesn't even look like an e-bike. So We mainly ride out at Port Gamble, which is about 10 to 15 minutes away from us, and maybe 5 miles as the crow flies. It is a mecca, a mountain bike park that you don't need a chairlift for. So it's not a lot of elevation, but it does have features for kind of beginners, Blue Trail Networks, machine built, all the way up to double black diamond machine built, 50 or about 45-foot gap jumps. You can park a school bus in between, and all the way down to a few downhill trails that are hand built as well, all built by Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance, and specifically Matt Blossom and Matt Orlando doing most of the work out there. Thank you guys. There's also about 60 miles, I believe, total of trails out there that are not exactly ride park related, more cross country, more through the woods, kind of something for the people that want to explore. So you really do get that mix of like what maybe a Duthie Hill Park feels like on top of a lot of forest to explore. Really, you can spend weeks out there and still have a good time.
What can we expect in your next video and videos to come?
Yeah, we do get a lot of mechanical questions. Many people kind of asking about specifically suspension setup. I would like to work with people more in person on trails to dial their bikes in for our specific trail network. I think we're going to be doing a lot of videos on fine-tuning suspension. We get a request for that pretty often, so I'm going to see what we can do to really break down what we have for our trails. So we'll be going out there and try to explain something that's extremely hard to explain, honestly, and that is how your suspension works and the geometry of your bike, what it should be doing and what it shouldn't be doing.